What is going on, guys? Predator458 here, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to some World of Warships action, where today we're going to be taking a look at a match that I had in the Tier 9 American Battleship, the USS Iowa, which I and many others out there consider to be the pinnacle of the American Battleship line. Now, I took a fair break from World of Warships, and since my return, let's just say I've really been struggling with Iowa and North Carolina. I've just really struggled to make these guns, these American 16-inch guns on Tier 8, 9, and even the Tier 10 Montana work. And unfortunately, this Miyoko was not paying any attention to where he was going, but he does at least apologize. So we're on Northern Lights, which is, as we all know, just a nighttime version of north, and we've got our first targets popping up. We've got a Nagato at 20 kilometers and a Miyoko at 16, but I believe the Miyoko was going to be behind cover before I could get a shot off. So I take the lead and fire off a full broadside at the Nagato. Now, what I think has happened to the Iowa is I'm fairly sure her accuracy has been changed, and those are looking pretty good. Managed 5 hits for just shy of 18,000 damage, so not a bad first salvo. But the other thing is take some damage in return from the Nagato. The other thing is it really feels to me like the shell velocity was nerfed and slowed down a bit, because that's what I've been finding with a lot of targets that I've been shooting at. I've been giving them the lead. I've been looking at the time it's going to take the shells to get there, basing it on the time in the bottom of the gunner's sight, adding a little bit extra like I would, and going, yeah, right about there, firing, and they're always short. So Miyoko has now shown themselves at 11 kilometers, shells going in, and we manage a citadel and a few more hits. What, that about 20,000, I think? Didn't quite catch the numbers properly. But this was the first game, shots coming in, I think that was from the New Mexico. But this was the first game that really I felt like I was making the guns work again. And maybe it was just because I was saying to myself, alright, give more lead than you think you need to, and that. But this was, as I said, the first game where I really started to feel like it was working again. 2 hits for only 2,700 damage. We slowed down, and as such the shells, I think it was from the Nagato from Tiedo, they land in front of us. But now shots coming in from the New Mexico, and a very nice shot by him. He manages to get a citadel penetration on us. He's now traveling away. The York is being a little bit of a pain, so we're going to take the lead on him, and we fire a full, yeah, we're going to fire a full salvo. We're not going to stagger those shots. I was starting to feel a little bit more confident in my abilities in this match, so I was firing more full broadsides. And there we go, another citadel in a hit for just shy of 18,000 damage. So this has really been a pretty good game so far. We've been quite lucky, had good shell groupings, and got the citadels and that sort of thing. And this has been by far the best match I've had in Iowa. And basically, the night I recorded this, this match was quite late at night, which is why I didn't do the live commentary, because I was starting to feel tired. And I don't particularly like doing live comms when I'm tired, simply because I normally sound tired. So I prefer to not do them. Torpedo warnings going off, which obviously always gives you a bit of a fright. It's from Allied Otago. We staggered those shots, but unfortunately none of them were particularly well aimed on my part. So no real difficulty to avoid the Otago's torpedoes, but it was still a little bit of a wake-up call. So York is now turning and trying to move away from the map border, so we're going to fire another salvo as each turret is ready, and see if we can get another lucky hit on him. These shells are looking pretty good. He's started to turn the other way, I think. 1 hit so far, and that's going to be it. So we did very minor damage there. But the night I recorded this, I basically just sat there and played Iowa. I was like, no, I'm going to figure out these damn guns again. And this was kind of the match where it all started to come together. So we're now heading towards A. We've got a North Carolina on our starboard side, who is giving us some support. There are some cruisers around as well, and I'm kind of hoping that they're all going to push up with us. More shots going in on the York, and now it's starting to look like I've forgotten how much lead to give again. We have been set on fire by that York, but there's only 30 seconds left and then we can put it out. We're slowing down, trying to throw off some of his shells. New Mexico is exposing himself a little bit here. So we're just going to turn a bit and get all 3 guns on target. Take the lead and... there we go, we're going to fire off another full broadside. There's some minor damage. And these shots are also looking pretty damn good. Some nice grouping. 3 hits for 9,000. They land a little bit short. Fire's gone out. And just got to wait another 50 odd seconds before we can use our repair party and build up some more of our health. Things are looking okay at the moment. We've lost a destroyer, enemy team's lost a destroyer and a cruiser. We have C and D, they only have B, so we have a very slight points advantage. Firing another full salvo at the Nagato, and here I exposed my broadside a little bit too much, just kind of again getting used to everything. 3 hits for 10,000, and one of the things that it is also taking some getting used to is the rudder shift times and that, because I think they were also slowed down a bit since I was last playing seriously. So a lot of the time you'll see me sort of overexpose my broadside because I don't quite get the rudder back to center in time. Nagato is happily sailing with his broadside towards us, so we're going to fire off another full salvo. And these shells again are looking pretty decent. 5 hits for just shy of 15,000 damage, but this North Carolina is now in some serious trouble. We've got an Otago, so we're going to fire the rear gun because we have that one on target, and a Tirpitz coming in from the middle of the map. And while the North Carolina is keeping his bow towards the enemy ships in front of us, he is exposing his broadside to these 2 battleships. So only a single hit on the Amagi, no damage done. We're going to take a stab at the Tirpitz, fire off the front 2 guns, and this North Carolina really should be reacting right now. But he's just going to continue happily sailing towards the enemy, and I mean you can see his health, another 2 hits for 8,000 damage there, but his health is being depleted rather rapidly. And then this is going to leave me in a rather difficult situation because I'm going to be faced with an Amagi, a Tirpitz, and New Mexico and a York. So fire going in on the Amagi from the rear turret, and we manage a Citadel in a hit and do just shy of 15,000 damage. Front 2 guns are ready, so we're going to fire those off, and the North Carolina has perished. Pop our damage control team, sorry, our repair party, and that will build us back up to about half health or so. So here we're going to have to take a risk. We cannot keep sailing in the direction we're sailing. We cannot reverse out of here because these 2 ships will close in on us very quickly, and if they're smart, they'll just each choose a broadside, or each choose a side, should I say, to go onto. So we're going to have to try and turn away, and as you can see, we're going to take some fairly big damage. But we do 3 hits there for, I think there was another 12,000, so we're really doing a lot of damage this match, but we've taken a hell of a lot in return. And in this situation, because of that North Carolina and his careless play, he should have turned in towards the Amagi and tried to angle against both threats. I think he could have done it fairly effectively, certainly more effectively than sailing straight and giving his broadside to 2 fellow Tier 8 battleships. So we've now had to turn around, shots going in on the Amagi, 3 hits for just under 4,500 damage. So we're now running for our life, and unfortunately the ships that are behind us can keep up, so we can't even really, I mean we can try and extend away from the New Mexico, but Amagi and Tirpitz are going to have little to no problem with keeping up with us. We are slightly faster than Amagi, and Tirpitz is slightly faster than us. So we're going to fire off the rear gun at the Amagi again, and how do those shots do? They all land just short, which is really quite unfortunate. So I've pretty much resigned myself to the fate that I am not likely going to get out of this situation alive. So I turn to expose my broadside a little bit to get my front 2 guns, and again I overexpose. But we get off the front 2 guns on the Amagi, another Citadel in a hit for 18,000 damage, and we get high caliber. Rear gun is now ready once again, but we're down to 13,700 hit points. And I can't really vary my speed here because I don't want this Tirpitz and Amagi closing in anymore. I've just got to try and get out of here as fast as possible. Unfortunately, we are still within range of the New Mexico, who has now switched to high explosive, and that is going to be a problem. Fire off a full salvo at the New Mexico, and we pop our heal once again, which is going to build us up to not a whole lot. There we go, we get 8,000 and we get Confederate, but that's going to be what, maybe 15,000 health, but we take more damage from the Armagi, and there's just no support from the team on this side. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. These are all the remaining ships on the enemy team. We did our job. We held this flank. They were not able to push around here because of us and the valiant sacrifice that the North Carolina made. And we've held 3 points. All, they don't actually even have anything right now. New Mexico sets us on fire, unfortunately, and we've got to wait 35 seconds for it to go out by itself. And unfortunately, those shells they weren't terribly aimed, I don't think, but they don't find their mark, and we do minimal damage to the Tier 6 battleship. So we're just waiting on the reload, and we're just, as I said, just trying to get away from this guy, but even though we're doing 10 knots more than him, we just can't quite extend the distance fast enough to get out of the range of his guns. More shots coming in, he does a little bit of damage. The fire is about to go out and leave us on a sliver of health, 115 hit points remaining, but then he finishes us off. So let's head off to the results and see how we managed to do in the battle. And as you can see, in the end, it did indeed turn out to be a victory for our team. 280,000 credits earned, just under 2,900 experience. We got high caliber and Confederate, 42 target hits, 1 incapacitation, 4 citadels, and we defended a base twice. As for the team score, we came second place on the team with a base experience of 1,924. Miyoko came first with 1977, so we weren't too far behind them. On the enemy team, Tirpitz first place with 1,071. But as for damage done, 173,700, so just shy of 174,000 armor-piercing damage, which is not bad at all. It would have been nice to get a kill for all that damage, but at the end of the day, damage matters more than kills. So what can you do? Still a good match, and that kind of just shows that sometimes not getting kills is not the end of the world. And we did our job for the team. We held that flank against more enemies than friendlies. We were outnumbered, and in the end, we may have perished, but we valiantly gave our lives fighting to the death for our team. But yeah, so that is it for this Iowa video. And now that I kind of got my feel back for the guns, I should hopefully be getting back to it. In other news, I do have the Pensacola and Miyoko in my port, so I really need to get to work on the grind for those. So hopefully you'll start seeing videos for those to pop up fairly soon. But that is about it for this video. If you enjoyed, please feel free to hit the thumbs up button down below and consider subscribing for more World of Warships, Armored Warfare, and a few other things that are thrown to the mix from time to time. But that is it for this video. Thank you very much for stopping by. This is Predator 458 signing off, and I will see you guys next time.